Yo, what's poppin'? Ready Wrong Beats, the rocket launcher. We about to turn it up a notch and chop it up.
Turn me up!
We be going over time. We be going over time.
What them haters are saying. Tell me what you want. They gon' make me ride on this one, nigga.
We be going over
Get
time.
'em.
We be going over time. We be going over time. Take it. We be going over time. We be going
Tell me
over
what you
time.
want,
Take
little
it. We be going over time.
Y'all gon' make me come out of this.
Chop it up.
How long does it take you to like produce a beat?
20 minutes.
Oh yeah, alright. Cameras.
As long as I got everything.
Yeah.
If I hear something, I go at it.
Yeah.
I already kind of have an idea.
Yeah.
There you are. Hey. Yes, sir. This is the man.
Hey, is it okay to vape or no?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Oh, let me put the idiot box down.
Yep.
You want me to wait to get him drink or?
Oh no. You go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Gotta show that top, my guy.
Yeah.
That's the Chop It Up podcast today.
All right, what's going on, yo? We about to get started here. Chop It Up podcast. Right now, we in Mo Styles Barbershop. in
Oh, yeah.
Salon.
Oh yeah.
Check it out.
Oh yeah.
So I got my man JB in the house. We got Gator in the house.
Wow.
My special guest today, Ready Ron Beats, is in the house, and obviously myself. So we about to get it started.
Uh-oh. I'm scared to take this hat off because I look like I look like the great who did it.
All right, so we on the clock. So with that being said, first question of the day, Ron. So first off, there's nothing that cannot be touched in this episode. So, you know, so
Okay, let's have fun.
So with that being said, my very first question of the day for you is going back to your history in New York. When we first met up, how come you never told me you were with DMX?
Word.
Why did you keep that under wraps? You know what I'm saying?
That's a really sore subject, and anytime anybody asks me any questions about that, I try to avoid it because right now we're dealing with the era of sheep.
Right.
Sheep will believe any spoon-fed poison that's given to them, and I'll lightly touch on what I'm talking about when they did the BET Rough Riders Chronicles. They contacted me and I did an interview, and I told them to keep that nonsense out because for years I had to live down a lie, and that was told on me. And so I went and did something on my social media addressing it, and then almost a year and a half later he passes away, and people had trolled my social media, found that video, and what ended up happening is the narrative was I put the video out after he died, when it was actually done prior to his death, a year prior, but nobody really cared. So, but to get right to the point, me and that man came out of a place that some people don't even survive. Right. And I'm very proud of his accomplishments. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna say anything about, I'm just not gonna get into detail about it.
Yeah.
I'm just very proud, man, because like I said, you have some artists that the music saved their lives.
Right.
Music saved his life for years, regardless of the chaos. It also saved my life.
Right.
It got me to walk a different path because I got sober. I've been sober over 20 years now, so, no pun on him or anybody. It was during that time with him and I, it was great, believe it or not, but that's a sore subject.
No,
because even BET didn't even use my video interview, because they videoed me, and what's funny is, a gentleman was at my home studio at the time that I was doing this, and it was Sos the Interrogator, that I was doing this video interview with BET for the Rough Riders Chronicle, and they never used my interview. They only put up Ready Ron Denies,
Wow. Yeah. See, man, and that's what's wrong with the culture, man, because like when they do that, we lose the history and the heritage and the true pioneers that's really holding it down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because like when I found that out, I kind of took it personal because I was like, yo, like why didn't you tell me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like because for me, like I'm trying to be on that level as the DMXs. I'm trying to be on that level with
Right.
So for me to know like you was there, you was doing it, you was working with people who made it to that level, and then I'm finding out like through the grapevine about it, I was like, man, this nigga like he's clowning me, bro. Like he playing with me, like he don't take me serious, you know what I'm saying? But now understanding it, it's like because
a lot of times people don't realize that outside of entertainment, we're still regular people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even when all of that came about, there was a lot of weirdo stuff happening, man. And I was never worried about cats that was actually about it. I was getting some weird messages from people who had mental health issues.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I understood, you know, being a fan, but nobody actually cared to know anything until after the fact.
Right.
And then after the fact, they want to criticize anything and everything. And once again, like I said, right after the Rough Rider Chronicles videoing of me, I put something out on social media. Nobody really cared until after that came out.
Right.
Nobody cared after that came out. And then all of a sudden, somebody who trolled me decided to repost that video, and now the narrative is, why did you wait till he died?
And that wasn't the case.
And that wasn't the case. That really wasn't the case. You know, and so I wish nothing but good fortune for his family and his legacy, because he was incredible. He was incredible. You know, I have my little quirks and shit that I don't like, but I'm not gonna sit here and do that. Only a piece of shit would do some shit like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit. No, I'm proud of his accomplishments, man, and especially how he was so in tune with all the fugazi shit that was going on in the industry.
Yeah.
And all the weirdo shit. He was an unsung hero and advocate about how they try to fuck people around and play people. And they were too busy talking about his drug addiction and him wilding out, but they missed the message.
Right.
They missed the message. You know, so come on, man, that's a next subject.
No, I mean that's honestly like no, I appreciate you explaining that because like, you know, I really took it kind of personal, just like, man, he's not filling me in with the culture, you know, and like, you know, for me, this is everything. Like music saved my life.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying? Music really did save my life. You know what I'm saying? Because like without music, like I had no form of expression. I was lost in the world. Me and Gator had talked about it. You know, just dealing with like mental depression and
100%. 100%.
You know, really? So like it's something that I think we as the culture need to talk about and express it. But how do we do it in a way that people can use that as a way to
let me backtrack a little bit. A lot of things had to immediately change after that. Being a spouse and a significant other, being a father. You know what I mean? So I have to now take into consideration some idiot running up on one of my kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or even my spouse.
Right.
Not knowing, like I said, we're in an era of sheep and false information.
Yeah.
And even after, you know, all the media flack that came from it, nobody cared. Everybody thought that it was about a paycheck or something. No, it wasn't about a paycheck. It really wasn't. Even the VH1, when they did the Behind the Music VH1, I mean, it just, like I said, the whole equation changed because it wasn't about me anymore. Right. It was about my concern for the people that mattered to me the most. And that's what it was about. You know, my woman and my kids. Because you never know, like I said, cats who are about it are about it. You never know who has a mental health issue for real.
Right.
And like I said, I still have the message, and you can tell this guy should be in. You know, he needs mental health help.
Right.
You can hear it in his voice. And that would be the type of person that would do something stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That would do something stupid.
Yeah.
So
on another subject, we got the new project coming out. It's called Built Different.
Okay.
Produced by my man Ready Ron Beats.
Yeah.
I got one hot topic. Why didn't you put a verse on the album? Why didn't you put? Man, I talked about it for months, trying to get a verse. Like,
you know, I've been fighting with that because realistically, I like where I'm at. I like the fact that I love the culture of the music, and you don't necessarily have to be up front in order to be a part of the machine.
right.
And I want to do a verse, but I don't want to do a verse. Like, I like the fact that I made all the beats. I like the fact that it's very cohesive and it came together so very fluidly and flawlessly.
Yeah.
But do I want that nonsense? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's almost like like RZA said with no, was it RZA from the Grave Diggers, where he's having a holy war in the mental of whether I want to do that and put myself out there or not? Because I'm happy that I first of all, I love the culture of hip hop.
Yeah.
Second, I'm glad I have something that to offer. I'm glad I have something to offer. And you know, I like the fact that what I have to offer plays a big part. Because now I've created a canvas for you to do your artwork on.
Right. But so for me though, like, once again, I kind of take it personal because in my eyes, knowing where you came from, New York, knowing your background, knowing you work with people like DMX, for me it was really more about the iconicness of saying, hey, it's like I got a DJ Premier to like do a verse on my project. You know what I'm saying? Like, because knowing that you was a rapper and you did your thing for many years with the best of them in the middle of the heart of the mecca of hip hop culture, like, to me it was more of the honor of being able to say, hey, I got a Ready Ron beat, or I got Ready Ron to do a verse on my project, you know what I'm saying, and like have it go down in history as like one of those iconic albums. Like, yeah, Ready Ron produced the whole thing, but hey, he also sprinkled it with a little,
You know, one of my favorite producers is Pete Rock.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that whenever he did his remixes, he never really did a full 16.
Right.
And so I might on the remix do an 8.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of struggling with that because it's really unfair. Whatever artist that I work with, it's really unfair that the ignorance that comes with my baggage might bleed into a classic piece of work.
Got it. Okay. I never thought about it like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you have people nowadays that are still saying, man, fuck that dude. He did such and such and such and such. When in reality, I didn't. But nobody knows that.
Right.
And now, excuse me, now, like I said, our people are being led like sheep with false information.
Right.
Our people are being led with false information. And so, if you've already got it made up in your mind, no matter how much it sounds like right, it's hard for people to accept what's real.
Yeah.
And especially the way rap music is actually being controlled. Because real hip hop, you're not hearing that. You're hearing mostly a lot of industry plants. Unless you're a true lover of the art, you're hearing mostly industry plants and commercialized shit and basically all self-destructive music. Because you know, hip hop was the voice of the street.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one thing. Where now all you hear is one thing, one style, one this, one that, because we don't have those great independent labels like we used to have, where you have all these different styles and these different sounds. Because where I'm from, and from my era, you sound like me, you got a problem. That means you're swagger jacking, you're style stealing, you're biting.
Yeah.
Right.
Where these companies that aren't really run by black people are encouraging this.
Yeah.
See, you gotta remember, when Viacom bought out BET, for those who don't know, you should know, BET is not owned by black people anymore.
Right.
It's owned by Viacom. And when they originally first bought out BET, the first show they got rid of was The Basement.
Rap City in the Basement.
Yep. And
Now Tigger, Tigger bought artists from all over the country.
Right.
All over the country. And several from across, from overseas, right? you heard individuality. You heard differences where people were more creative. Now, the trap beats are almost the same. The drill beats are almost the same. The flow pattern is almost the same. The lyrical content is damn near the same. It's all, my women are selling sex. And my brothers, all black women have to sell sex. All black brothers, or even black and Latino brothers, okay, and then there's a horrible word that I hate to use, it's called minority, all right? Those that are non-white. We have to be self-destructive. All of our music has to be self-destructive. Because I was talking to somebody the other day about the last female hip-hop artist, you know, prior to Latifah and then after Latifah, but the last one that promoted self-awareness and some form of self-respect was Lauren. Yeah. And they destroyed her.
Right.
And right now, one of the most talented, they're intentionally avoiding her. And that's Rhapsody.
Rhapsody, yeah.
Because she did a song, she did a whole project. And the whole project was the name, each song was the name of prominent black women who've accomplished something. And I think it was E.3, who's, isn't that Tupac's mom's first name?
Oh yeah, Afeni Shakur.
She said something in the verse, she said, I did this without selling sex, and that's a skill. Any female, talented female, that's not out there selling sex, they're intentionally blocking that.
Right.
I don't want to just say black, but that horrible word, any artist that's not white, right? Hold on a second. that's doing socially conscious hip hop and real music. Because I mean, where's the Dear Mamas? Where is the love? They don't want that.
Right. So
anybody doing anything like that, or that's educating in any way or passing on information, they're going out of their way to make sure. Because now even those same companies have bought out the radio stations.
Right.
And these radio stations aren't playing what they want to play. You have some, but the only ones that are actually really doing is college radio, where the DJs are playing what they want to play.
Yeah, right.
Anybody else is given a list.
Right.
And those DJs, it's a job. They come in, they work their shift, they're given a list of what to play, how many times a day. Then the next DJ comes in for his shift, and he's given a list of what to play. So you're hearing the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over again, whether you really like it or not.
Right.
And you're kind of indirectly being programmed.
Yeah.
Our children, our most developmental years are from 2 to 6 years old, right?
Right.
Learning years. Twerking and dancing.
Yeah.
That's not dancing.
Yeah.
They have a set of young sisters, I think they're out of Europe, that do real hip hop dancing. That they're all over social media. But they don't want, because they want to make sure they keep spoon feeding our children poison.
Right. Yeah, because like even I was DJing at an elementary school, and like just the songs that they were picking was, like you said, it was self-destructive, and I'm like, why? I'm like, you're in 3rd grade. Why are you listening to this?
And
like, you know what I'm saying?
You're
like,
not actually dancing.
Yeah.
All you see is these women shaking their asses.
Yeah.
In an extremely provocative way. So this is what's happening to our kids. This is, and not just in our young girls.
Yeah, because
and God forbid our boys, because it's always opt this, opt that, opt this, opt that, shoot this, shoot that, drugs, you know what I mean? Drugs, violence, drugs, violence, drugs, violence.
Right.
Where some of our founders and some of the greats of hip hop can't even sell out a sports bar. And that's here in this country.
Right.
That's why I have so much respect for a lot of the hip hop culture overseas, because they still love the vets that laid the foundation.
Right.
Because not everything is about financial gain. You know, if you're not talking about sex, drugs, or money, these youngsters don't even want to hear or shooting somebody.
Yeah.
Go overseas. Some of them are selling out. Like, I got a lot of respect for the Snow Goons out of Germany. Because they're pulling vets. They're pulling vets over there, and they're getting their money. They're getting their money. You know, a lot of people don't even know that Paris Smith from EPMD went over there and got his money. Onyx went over there and made 3 platinum albums. They not platinum in the United States, but platinum albums because they loved the art of hip hop, the culture of hip hop, not corporate rap music.
Right.
Not this bullshit.
It's still like that overseas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still like that.
Yeah. Because I pay attention to hip hop overseas, and even the samples and stuff that I use. I don't always go to a sample site. It's either a record, a tape, a CD, a DVD, or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they have a serious hip hop scene in Russia, in the Philippines, in Taiwan, and I mean boom bap, hip hop.
Yeah.
There's a guy right now that's starting something. Can I pause for a second? There's a guy right now, and I keep forgetting where he's at. And his name is, I think it's Moral Beats. And as soon as I ran across his stuff, I immediately followed him because
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that about like even just like the whole dancing.
yeah, it is. It's Moral Beats. And he's out of, hold on. Moral Beats is his record label, but these are guys that are, Spain and Mexico too.
Yeah.
Spain and Mexico got a serious boom bap, like classic hip hop scene. But these guys, man.
And I'll make sure we drop a link too for more videos so like you guys can check them out.
Like, yeah, out of the Philippines.
Yeah.
They're out of the Philippines. Yeah.
This would put on my heart to share.
How important do you think it is for young upcoming artists to try to shoot for their market out there overseas?
I think first and foremost they need to sit down. I think the OGs need to step their game up. And there are a lot of local people here that I know that are doing it, but it's about knowing the history and educating.
Yeah.
And educating. Anybody who's doing traditional hip hop, I strongly suggest you send your shit overseas because they're gonna appreciate and respect the culture.
The art.
They're gonna respect the culture.
Right.
Not corporate rap music, but the culture of hip hop.
Right.
Yeah, and that's 2 different things.
Yeah.
So I'm saying producing. I mean, I know you got an entourage in your catalog. How does it feel when you get a new upcoming artist on one of your tracks and he nails it? Like what feeling do you get? What sense of security do you feel? Do you feel like you're still going in the right direction?
I love this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even about, it's more of a personal sense of accomplishment.
Right.
Because like I said, like Sos even said, this saved my life.
Right.
So even in my recovery, you know what I mean? When I was out there wilding and running around, my whole life and everything was all focused around that shit.
Right.
1% was the mood and mind altering chemical. The other 99% was the behavior.
Right.
And so once I stopped consuming, what now?
Right.
For all those years, all I did was exist. I wasn't living.
Right.
What do I have to show? Nothing. And so now, how do I fill that time with something to make me feel better about me and me being a better me?
Right.
And so, it's about sharing a moment.
Right.
More so with me.
Okay.
It's not about me, giving daps and high five and saying, yeah, you got that shit.
Right.
It's about, we did this. We are sharing a moment.
Right. Okay.
And I hope, and what I'm hoping is that someone that hears it has the opportunity to share that moment with us.
Right.
As an
I
OG,
respect that.
As an OG in the game, like, are there any artists that you looking forward to working with?
Are you talking about industry or?
Period.
You know what? I leave that in God's hands. There's nobody that's too big or too small.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? There's nobody too big or too small. I don't do big I's and little U's. I don't care if you're my man Billy Soul,
Yeah.
or Nico Tam, a cat in Hong Kong I work with, or you're Busta Rhyme.
Right.
It's
Right.
a moment being shared.
Right.
And I'm just thankful that I have something to offer.
Right. Right.
And,
right.
and it's cohesive and it works.
Right.
And that's what it's about for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, I encourage them to send that shit overseas.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get too deep into it, but personally, they done stole pretty much everything from any minority group
Right.
and claimed it and exploited it.
Right. Right.
Like something I saw in the news today that really broke my fucking heart. And I'm not gonna get into the whole politics about who's in office, because we already know they're trying to remove the information about this Tuskegee Airmen
Yeah. Syphilis.
out of history.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. Syphilis. The syphilis experiment.
No, I'm not talking about the Tuskegee experiments.
Okay. Okay.
I'm talking about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
I had to pause the news and take a picture. Hold on. I had to pause and I had to rewind it and I had to rewind it and I had to rewind it. Just like the stuff that this president is trying to remove. All this information about the death of Kennedy or Martin Luther King. See, people are not paying attention.
Yeah. They're trying to rewrite history.
They're trying to erase stuff and remove stuff from history.
Yeah.
So, hold on.
I saw where they were saying that slaves were sharecropper.
That was from the news. I want you to read what it says.
Air Force scraps courses with Tuskegee Airmen videos.
Wow.
So these are the courses. These are the courses that they do for young pilots,
Training.
right? Did you know the history of those red tails? They were bomber escorts,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had the fewest incidents where they lost bombers.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
one of the few that had a small percentage of bombers that they lost because they wasn't too busy chasing after the German pilots for glory. They stayed and protected, and when they engaged, they engaged.
They engaged.
So they're trying to remove that from military history and the passing of information.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I remember I watched the Red Tail movie that came out, but I didn't hear about that.
That was on the news this morning. This morning.
Yeah.
Once this president got in office, the first thing he attacked was immigrants, migrants, and tax breaks for the millionaires. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
How much are eggs right now? There was promises to bring the price of food down so that it's affordable.
Well, he took away,
A dozen of eggs.
yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
So, yeah. But let's get back on track, man. But that's deep though. That's something you got to pay attention to because the grand deception is real, man.
It's happening right in front of
The
us.
grand deception is real. And a lot of people don't realize I'm from an era where there was internet, but it wasn't like it was now. Read a fucking book.
Yeah.
All the information and the knowledge that I got, I read a book. You're running around with these fucking cell phones. You have mini computers
Yeah.
that are pieces of history. You can get any piece of history or information to educate yourself.
No excuse.
But you rather be on social media showing money, shaking your ass and all of that.
Right.
Instead of using the tools that are available. The only thing I use social media for is to post instrumentals.
Right.
Once in a while I might, post something from a show and I use it as a tool.
Yeah.
As a tool to share a part of myself, which is the music. But if there's anything you really want to know, the information is right here.
At the tip of your finger.
It's right here. Google, YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like our youth is really struggling because like they're not using the resources for the right purposes. Like even my son right now, like I'm having to tell him, get off of YouTube, get off of, quit watching that crap because he's watching all these shows and like he's watching girls shaking their ass and
right.
He'll go in the bathroom for like an hour and he tries to hide. I'm like, bro, I know what you're doing. Come on, man, you're 6 years old.
Man.
Like,
you think you slick.
You know what I'm saying? Like, get off of YouTube, bro.
But see, this is like when we started this, I said, they're spoon-feeding poison to the masses.
I heard that they don't even allow like TikTok in China. Or
is it banned here? You can't.
No, it's bad. But that's about control.
No, but you're right though. And the TikTok in China is only for educational purposes only. Like you're not allowed to post all that weirdo, crazy, random drama and bullshit. Like you can't do that in China. It's only like doctors
I can't speak on it, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm not educated in it, so I can't say yay or nay.
Yeah, but you're right, JB. Like everything in China, it's for educational purposes. It's not like our TikTok here. It's very different.
Like I said, I started this. What would be our kids are being spoon-fed poison.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are too stupid to realize that it's intentional. And instead of learning from it, we're still stuck with that Willie Lynch bullshit, where we're our own worst enemy.
Right.
But you think about it, man. That's 400 plus years of being psychologically
manipulated. Yeah, because, and for those who watch this, and hear me out, man. Willie Lynch was a slave owner who stood on the banks of Virginia and taught slave masters how to control their slaves. And that's where you get lynch or lynch mob or this. And what he did was, in the speech, he said, in order to better control them, you have to turn them against each other. Right. The young against the old against the young.
Brown paper bag.
The women against the men against the women. The light skin versus the dark skin. And this is why you had the field slaves and you had the house slaves who were lighter skinned. And this is something, for some reason, has been embedded in our DNA, and I don't know why.
Right.
I don't know why, when the information is there for you to see that this is what's happening. Yeah. Will you just accept that?
Yeah.
You would rather rob me, kill me, steal from me, instead of come to me and say, hey, yo, I see what you got. Yo, let me show you how you can get it and we can be better.
Yeah. Right. It's been progress made. I think it's been progress made, but it's not something that can be fixed overnight, man.
Bro, no, it's not.
Yes.
But being aware of it and understanding it, that's the hard thing. The hard thing is understanding it. And with the way all this shit is going on right now, with all these false narratives and false information and how people are being moved like sheep, a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to hear that old Martin Luther King Farrakhan shit, nigga. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm like, that's exactly what they want.
Exactly.
They don't want you to.
They're laughing at it.
You know what I mean?
Because you're feeding right into their narrative.
You are giving them exactly what they needed. What they need. What they need is for us to kill each other, and they don't have to do it anymore.
Right, and they prosper from it.
They prosper from it because now all you have to do is sit back and watch.
Yeah, because me and Gator was just talking about that too, about how there's been like all these like people who've been convicted of crimes or doing prison terms. Like there's a guy by the name of Antonio Cutts, Raw Player Rod did 20 years. Antonio Cutts did 2 10-year sentences and like was wrongfully convicted.
Oh yeah.
And like and what's crazy is like I'm hearing more and more about it. Like I've now personally met 4 different individuals who've been wrongly convicted and are now sharing their stories. And it's just like, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the more you hear about it, you're going, wow, like how did I not see this? How did I not hear about
man.
this?
There are many people who were wrongly convicted and did time for stuff that they didn't do for being falsely accused.
Yeah. And he was telling me about, especially like him being from Louisiana. We was just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, they're the number one. So the United States is the number one country as far as incarceration.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that.
And Louisiana is the #1 state in the country for incarceration.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of corrupt, and same as New York.
Yeah.
That top, that NYPD, NOPD, Chicago, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
Oh, and you got guys, we had the strictest marijuana laws, and you got guys that, when Bill Clinton came in with 3 strikes.
Oh yeah,
you know,
3 strikes. Come on, man. Mandatory sentencing for like Texas didn't play either.
Yeah, don't mess with Texas.
That's their logo.
Yeah.
That's their slogan.
Don't mess with Texas.
You had more addicts that were doing bigger time than the drug dealers.
Yeah.
Because on a street level, you're catching drug addicts with one crack rock, and doing 5 years.
Yeah. A doobie, man, they were getting 25 to life for doobies in the ashtray. You know what I'm saying?
For weed in the ashtray.
Third strike.
Hold on, New York will convict you if they found a seed in your car.
Yeah. It's serious.
Serious.
Wow.
But what neighborhoods were they in?
Right.
They were intentionally in what you would say, and I hate that word, minority.
I know.
But those who were non-white.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, what's crazy is, the statistics say it was the whites. It wasn't the non-whites that were doing, were the ones that were more likely to be guilty.
Right.
It was, you know what I'm saying? The non-whites were most likely to less be guilty, but those who weren't non-white were more likely to be guilty of that crime.
That's crazy.
Come on, take a look at all the other stuff that's going on. You have the stand your ground law in Florida.
Yeah.
How did he get away with killing that little boy?
I didn't hear about that.
Trayvon Martin. Yeah.
How did you get away with killing that boy? That boy was no threat to you.
Yeah.
That boy was no threat to you. He was going about his business. You followed, you antagonized, and then you murdered him. And then you got off.
That's been going on for years, man. And social media is just a platform to expose it now.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So now, even though there was a lot of stuff that went on with Black Lives Matter, when they marched, did you notice they had the military, the police?
Yeah.
They had this, they had that, they had this, they had that, right?
Yeah.
When them racists ran up on the Capitol, they didn't have all of that military or police presence.
Power.
And guess what happened? They ran up in there.
They kicked it in.
They ran up, and this dude pardoned them.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, now they free.
Yeah.
So that's, man, it was a
But
wrap.
when we were doing non-violent protests, peaceful non-violent protests, they had all of this military and police presence.
Yeah.
And what they say that people were actually, the system actually sent people in, or agents in to provoke things.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So go.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the cop that was undercover that ended up getting beat up by the white cops?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear about that.
He was there to walk in with the protesters and undercover.
Right.
He was on assignment, and the cops mocked him up, not knowing he was a cop. And while they was whooping his ass, he was like, "I'm a cop. You know, like, you black bastard.
I'm one of y'all.
No, you're not.
No, you thought you was.
You thought you were.
See what happened.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, man, we've been falsely accused for a lot of times, a lot of things. Well, look at the college football player that was falsely accused of raping a white girl.
Oh yeah, you know this
All the time.
They go back.
And there was and the evidence was there that he was innocent.
Yeah.
The evidence was there. They convicted him first. Then when the truth came out, and he was on his way, he was a great prospect for the NFL.
Yeah.
Just to tarnish his name, huh?
They go all the way back to Emmett Till. They've been doing that to us for years.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
You
Yeah,
know.
man. They murdered that poor child.
Yeah. And then exploited it.
Yeah. They murdered that poor child.
Yeah.
And you know, there was something that was going around saying, you know, because they say that the one crime that there's no statute of limitation on his murder.
Yeah.
And people were saying, well, we're all aware that she was a part of that facilitated that. Why not arrest her?
Right.
Yep, you're right about that.
She should be, you know what I mean, prosecuted. I don't care. You'll prosecute a 80-year-old black man for something that he didn't do.
Right.
Right.
We see that way too often.
Yeah.
Way too often.
Way too often. So, but
so on a different note,
back to the music.
Music. No, not even on music. Like, so he kind of alluded to the question earlier, but on the project Built Different.
Okay.
Do you have a particular song that you like from the project, or is it you just like the whole project because you produced it, or like what is your takes on Built Different? Because you've never really talked about like what your thoughts were about it. So, what are your thoughts on the project?
Raw and uncut.
You sure you ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
I think that shit is go. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Hold on. It's been a long time, right? That something actually excited me. And the thing is, I'm a true fan of, like I said, not corporate rap music, and I don't want to take nothing away from anybody who's out there talented and doing what you gotta do. But a great album and a great project was like a book.
Yeah.
Read a fucking book. It's like a book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The beginning, there's the middle, and then there's the ending. A good album was the same way back in the days.
Right.
And it was very cohesive.
Right.
Whether it was Nas or Ice Cube or Pop or X or any of them, their albums were very cohesive. You might have heard songs that you liked more, but you never had a problem just hitting play and letting the whole thing play out. Even though you enjoyed some songs more.
Yep, you're right about that.
Built Different is one of those you hit play and you let play. There might be some songs that touch you differently because music is a feeling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, I like the way that sound. No, you like the way that make you feel.
Yeah.
Because it's a shared moment. Remember what I said about sharing a moment with somebody?
Yeah.
With me and him working, or me and somebody else working, and us sharing a moment, and it's a moment of that we created, a feeling, and being able to share that with other people. That's how I feel about this project.
Okay.
I never made a big deal about it because it was too easy. And that's not a bad thing, because the secret behind certain successes are simplicity.
Less is more sometimes.
You don't complicate simple shit. Some of the greatest commercial songs are very simple. And I'm not talking about bubblegum pop.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. I listen to a lot of different genres of music.
Right.
Where some people don't. And this is why you get too much of a similarity of some of the stuff when you have other producers making beats and stuff, right? I listen to a whole bunch of different genres. In the 80s, there was a rock group called the Cars.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? There's a rock group called the Cars. They were very simple. A lot of their songs, you know what I mean?
Right.
But they were on point.
Right.
So when that era was over, then came the Goo Goo Dolls out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right. They did the soundtrack for what was because they were Storm Chasers. Twister.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people didn't realize that the simplicity behind some of their songs, there was a reason behind it. Rick Ocasek was the lead singer of the Cars.
Yeah.
The album A Baby Named Goo, the executive producer was Rick Ocasek from the Cars.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
See, people don't even read a fucking book.
Right.
People don't even read anymore who's involved with what.
Right.
You have no idea who's behind the scenes creating and making the music.
Wow, that's deep.
But it's so simple.
Right.
It's so simple.
Some good.
Believe it or not, I listen to a lot of older alternative rock, a lot of
AC/DC or like
no, I like AC/DC.
Led Zeppelin.
No, that's more 70s.
Yeah.
Like I listen to a lot of that, but a lot of late Joe Jackson, Jackson Brown, The Pretenders, early Devo.
Okay.
Even the B-52s.
Yeah.
Even the B-52s because I like punk. I also like ska music.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is you know what I'm saying, which is big band calypso crossover. Yeah. But I can go through a list of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Especially Jackson Brown and Joe Jackson.
What influence,
you know what I mean?
What influence does that do you feel that music right there has on the origins of hip hop? If any.
At some point, hip hop stopped becoming synthetic. It stopped becoming synthetic.
Right.
Which means drum machine and synthesized stuff. Because early days, that's what they used.
Right.
The sampling didn't step in. It became more organic.
Right.
Because you were now using real music samples.
Right.
Okay.
You're using, and whether somebody was playing keys or something else over it to add extra bass or that low end sub bass and stuff.
Right.
Because even now, you know, there was an era where when you hear one of them crazy systems come through, you hear the bass line, you knew the song.
Right.
Because they were using low end bass lines. They were still using that low end boom, but once you heard the bass line from a block away, from somebody's car beating, you knew the song. You can't do that shit now.
Doom 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 doom.
Right.
It's
You knew the song.
Yeah.
So it became
Black Sheep.
so it became more organic because you were now using live instrumentation from samples. And then you had some people who forgot that Stetsasonic was a hip hop band, which means like the Roots. They were the first live hip hop band, like the Roots. They went on stage with live instrumentation.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, like I said, it became more organic. Even with the stuff that Run and them did, Run DMC and them did, a lot of their stuff was very synthetic, and they got away from that. But everything was now rock sounding.
Right. Because that was their influence.
That was what it was. I mean,
is that from Rick Rubin?
Rick Rubin.
Or not majority?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Because they were able to reach larger ears, a larger mass, a larger audience by that blending of two different sounds.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that too, because like that when people ask me like why I don't produce my own music anymore, and I've been like working with different producers, that was mainly why, because for me, I felt like my music sounded way too synthetic, and I didn't like that. I wanted more live instrumentation, so I was trying to work with, you know, real bass players, real, you know, guitar players. Right. But that's why I got out of, you know, producing music, because I couldn't create the right sound.
I'm a hip hop guy.
Right.
Hip hop, real hip hop.
Right.
So sample, sure, why not? Add keys on top of it, yes I will. Ask for help from other people who are actually musically inclined, you motherfucking right.
I got a quick
because it's the main thing I keep saying is share the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I put something together for my daughter, and the bass line that I kept coming up with was more hip-hop-ish. So I sent it to Mario Casalini. That's my man. That's my man. You know what I mean? And he sent me something back and tracked out where he did two bass lines, but one was more of that moog, and the other simple bass line, which blended a certain way, and then I decided to add something else in that.
Right. Not to cut you off. Gary, you have one more question.
I had a quick question, man, because, and this is off the music, kinda, but I struggle with addiction as an artist. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get in that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And by you being able to relate to that, what keeps you grounded now for like other young upcoming artists that's in that life and feels like they need that mood altering substance to make them more creative, because that's what.
Yo, you know, I did a lot of things in addiction. Just, you know, and you know, I have a son and a child that's you know, queer.
Yeah.
I did a lot of things, but I've never in addiction did anything queer for my addiction.
Right.
No homosexual acts.
Right.
But if anybody did half of what I did to myself to me, I'd already be in prison or under the prison.
Right.
Which means I put myself in some real stupid, unnecessary situations. Shot, stabbed, incarcerated, homelessness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So how did you find, what keeps you grounded now for 20 years? That's big ups, man, 20 years.
Because I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I ain't no sucker or no coward.
Right.
Because I'm afraid.
Right. So
I'm afraid of me. Because I know how far I'll go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not becoming complacent or arrogant or cocky.
Right.
Like I used to go to a lot of self-help group meetings, and I still do. And I don't like getting up in there with gurus.
Right.
And I mentioned something about big I's and little U's, because you can have 30, 40, 50 years and be just as close to relapse as somebody less than a year.
Right.
So it's my humility.
What advice do you have to someone out there that's dealing with that right now? Because it's serious. It is.
Oh
serious.
shit, bro! It's not easy, but it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. You have to believe in yourself. And sometimes that's hard because that's all we know. When you've had enough of just barely existing and want to live your life.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I'm not going to say that things are gumdrops and lollipops when you get sober.
Right.
Because you still have to live life on life terms.
Right.
First, you have to you have to get yourself together.
Right.
Then you have no idea what type of health issues that you might have created.
Cause yourself. Right.
So you have to take that into consideration because of the wear and tear on your body.
Right.
Then you have to reestablishing yourself to society.
Right.
So it's all a process. You can't be afraid to fight hard for you.
Right.
And with that being said, we out of time.
Oh
But
shit.
Definitely, we're gonna bring ready Ron. JB, thank you for the hospitality.
You gotta bring me back, man, because this was we just scratched the surface.
We just scratched the surface. So we'll definitely continue this until next time, y'all.
All right.
We be going over time. Take it, limits. We be going over time. We be going over time. We be going over time. Take it, limits. We be going over time. We be going over time. We be going over time. Take it, limits. We be going over time. We be going over time. We be going over time. Take it, limits. We be going over time. Take it, limits. We be going over time. We be going over time. We be going over time.